Chris from Gingy Paint. Thanks for joining me again. If you've been regular to the channel, you'll know I'm quite a big fan of Yokomo's RS series. This is the RS2 that my young fella has been campaigning recently. We moved them up to the top line MS a couple of weeks ago, thinking that would be the last time we run this. We ran the MS for 2 or 3 weeks and it just didn't suit. A little bit too fragile, a little bit too complicated for him, and I was getting disheartened. So straight back to the MS last week. He had a great time, great result, good to see again. These things really are doing wonders for the hobby. I mean, the touring car is 149 quid out of the box, fully ball rest, all the drive shafts done, all the adjustability there that you need as a newcomer without getting overwhelmed, and on track the performance has been absolutely bang on. Now, as we've moved on, Yokomo have now brought in the new RO2, which is the new off-road car, obviously. Let's get this cracked open, have a look at the kit and see what's inside. We have seen a little bit of an upturn in two-wheel drive off-road racing in the past couple of months in Northern Ireland. And again, this looks to be a brilliant kit. I've taken a quick look around the instructions, downloaded from Yokomo's website, and there's so much of it's familiar with what I know from the SO2 that I've been campaigning, and the YZ 2 point whatever cal 3 million that Joey's been running as well. So keen to get this opened, get a look inside and see where we're up to with it. There's nothing quite as good as opening that seal in a new kit. Okay, so straight into this, the first thing we see is the familiar decal sheet that seems to come with everything, just that Yokomo give, regardless of what it is. Pop that to one side, and then into the meat of it now. It's a composite molded chassis on these. It's the first big difference between the RO2 and the SO series. Obviously the SO series is an aluminium chassis with these molded side supports. I have seen one or two of the old SO1 chassis broken, but I mean they were colossal hits that would have bent an alloy chassis as well. But yeah, we'll build and run it with this. First of all, I do have a spare aluminium chassis and side guards sitting to build onto this as well if we need to. But yeah, it's a really rigid bit of kit. I have seen and heard of some guys running the SO2s and SO3s with the graphite chassis to increase flex on lower grip conditions. Okay, next big item in the box then is the body shell. This to me it's different to the SO body shell, which cuts off here for the wing mount. These are slightly different, and obviously with the higher gearbox in these, they're going to be slightly different in and around the back of them as well. But I mean, yeah, crisp, clean, well molded, reasonable lexing, which is unlike some two-wheel drive body shells I've seen recently. Big dirty wing, just what we need. Okay, then into the rest of the box. Unlike the RS 1 and 2, you've diff fluid in this as well. 5,000 weight, 300 weight shock oil, 250 weight shock oil as well. So obviously different to the front rear shocks, which is nice to see. It could be one of those things that they could have just penny pinched on, but no, they'll obviously went further on. Right, where did my scalpel go? Let's get this cracked open. Under the wing, that's where it went. And we go again. Bag number 1 gives us the steering assembly, the bell cranks, the steering mount, and the front mount as well. These are all really similar to what I get in the SO kit. Ball raced. Well, I don't know if you can see that in camera, but the bell cranks are ball raced in this, which is a lovely touch for an entry-level kit. All composite molded stuff, molded front shock tower instead of carbon in the big kit. Can't see there being an issue with it. I know the nylon bulkhead is typically a sacrificial part and is the first thing to go in an accident. Saying that, there's an aluminium and steel bulkhead available which fits the SO 1.2 Cal 3.1, all the stuff, which is a really useful tuning aid actually if you're racing this. So definitely something worth looking into are the metal components in there. Bag 2. Okay, so this is rear wishbones, rear hubs, hinge pins, and hardware. Big chunky rear hubs on them. Again, look to be the same as the SO cars, and same rear wishbones as the SO cars as well, with the inserts to give really fine adjustment of the lower mounting point for the shocks. Again, it just looks to be the softer plastic version of the big boys version. Bag 3 then. Bag 3 brings us into the gearbox, and this is one thing that I was really curious about with the SO or the RO2. It runs the older upright gearbox, again for traction in low traction conditions, that they expect this to be running more often. Now, we are running mostly on a low traction AstroTurf, and with the SO we've been struggling to get the weight back enough in the car. So yeah, really keen to see how this operates, and as much as anything else, even if we don't run this version so often, really good to get the gearbox in this. That should have us one step further. Again, fully ball raced, plastic shock tower instead of carbon as you'd expect, and yeah, metal gear for the diff, metal internals, all groovy. Actually slightly more adjustment in the, I've only a single inner adjuster in the SO2 that has 3 adjustments in it. We use height mostly in the other one, but yeah, good to see. Steel lay shaft and everything else, happy days. Yeah, good job. Bag 4 then brings us out, and again, another lovely touch to see with an entry level kit. Slipper clutch. Slipper clutch, CVD type drive shafts, aluminium motor mount. Yeah, battery motor mounts that you can adjust forward and back on it as well for weight distribution. Obviously bearings for the hubs and everything else. Bag 5 then brings us on to the front suspension of the car. Again, wishbones that are very familiar to me, hubs that are very familiar to me, and steering arms as well that can be adjusted for track width. Everything is as it looks from the RS. Bag 6 then brings us onto the shock absorbers. It's the one area of the kit that probably you could argue that they've maybe scrimped a little bit with plastic body shock absorbers. I mean, realistically, to replace these with metal shock absorbers is the majority of the price of the kit, so you can see why they've done it. Now, what is nice is all the seals look to be very, very similar. Where I can see a difference, which I'm really curious about. I've lost my scalpel again. It's not really a surprise. When I'm painting with it, it's always kept handy and tight. let's open this up and have a nosy through it. What I was really curious about is they've actually built it's a threaded top to the shock, and they've built the piston with a nut on it. I don't know if you can see it there. Wrong camera. With the inbuilt nut, so you drive the piston down onto the shock shaft. Now, what they say about assumption, I'm going to assume that's the same thread as the nut that we use to knot the piston onto the shaft anyway, so I can only imagine that that's going to be compatible with the standard 13mm pistons. However, we will build it with kit, see how we get to. Everything else looks exactly as it was. Bottom screw in parts for the seals, threaded adjustment. They don't give you the full range of shock bottoms. I mean, why would they? I'm just trying to see, is there a mark in these to tell us what? No, there's no mark on the rate of the spring. We'll need to have a look into that and see where we are. Obviously, just for comparison's sake going forward. Yeah, little fronts. Cool. All seals and everything else going forward as well. So excellent. We'll know better when we get these built. We will build them as kit to start with for the initial running of it, and then see where we get to. Bag 7 then. This is one part that is different to us. I haven't seen a spur gear cover since the B2, B3 days. It seems a bit foreign, but I suppose with the kit being aimed at a beginner, the last thing you want is to have a rotating gear open to little fingers, but everything else you'd expect in there, the bearings to finish off the hubs, all the screws and hardware, little tiny antenna tube. They do have the option, the weight case. It's there so you can change that with the aluminium or steel version again to bring the weight down in the front of the car if you want to do that. Lovely that it gives it the option. All the different servo horns you're ever going to need. There's that and that. Actual instruction manual that I've been through. I mean, Yokomo instruction manuals are very, very good. They're not quite Tamiya quality, but they're not that far off it. You do need to have a little bit of a think about some of the translation in them. But I mean, illustrations are great and everything else. Everything there you need to build a kit. Spanner, the Allen keys, the cross wrench, a few little bits and pieces that we need to finish stuff off there, and the Velcro for the body shell as well. So yeah, next shot here for me is when we start to build this. I think that the most fun thing to do is going to get Joey to build it with me. I sit and monitor his progress. But I think just with what the kit's aiming for, if we let Joey build it, again we'll video it for a bit of crack, to give you an idea of what's going on, and then we'll run it round our local track at RCNI on the AstroTurf, potentially throw the foams on it and take it for a run down in Dublin as well. But yeah, keep in touch with us, subscribe if you can, keep viewing, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Cheers. See you trackside.
Subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell for more videos.